Okay, the cat. It's time to introduce Emacs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the idea here is that we start off by looking a bit at the buffers in Emacs. In order to do that, we need to fire up Emacs.
Okay.
So you can either start Emacs by itself, or you can add an argument, and then Emacs opens this file. But no, if it's existing, it opens up the file. Otherwise, it sort of prepares to create the file.
Yeah. So this is an empty directory.
Mm?
So if I want to create a new file, monkey.java,
Mm?
I just type Emacs and then monkey.java.
Which does not exist, so it doesn't actually create it, but it prepares to create it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it still does not exist.
It creates a buffer called monkey.java.
Yep.
But it's not yet saved on file.
No, okay, but this is interesting. So we have a buffer here called monkey.java.
Yes.
So if you type something to this buffer, is it Yorkie? No, it's monkey. This is a class in Java. It's not the best class ever.
Something like that.
No, it's one of the best classes ever. But now this text exists only in the buffer.
In the buffer.
But you can save this. We're going to look into different save commands later on, or different commands. But for now, just if you press Control X, S,
Control X,
followed by
and
S.
then while still holding down Control, I press Control S.
Yeah.
And look at the thing down there. It wrote the file monkey.java. So now the file exists.
Okay. If you fire up one more buffer, no, open up a new file I call donkey.java.
Donkey.java.
Okay, so now actually the file donkey.java does not exist.
Not on the file system.
Okay, but can we check this anyhow? If you put Emacs to sleep, how do you do that?
Control Z.
Okay, by pressing Control followed by Z. Okay.
Z like in Zeta.
Yeah.
Now it paused Emacs.
Mm-hmm. So if you do ls here,
monkey.
There's a file called monkey, but there's no file called donkey.
Okay.
Okay.
So
if you want to go back to Emacs.
So Emacs is now running in the background, and I want to put it in the foreground. So foreground, the only paused command or program running is Emacs. So whatever is in the background will now become the foreground. So now Emacs takes up the whole terminal again. Great. So now I can type something here, public class donkey, was it?
Yeah.
And I can save it. So Control X and then Control S.
Yeah.
It wrote the file. I put it to sleep again, Emacs, do ls. Now we have two files.
Oh, this is excellent. Okay, so but can we list the can you switch to the file monkey again? Do you need to open it?
No. Now Emacs remembers the whole file monkey.java in a buffer, in a different buffer, and it remembers this file, everything here in a separate buffer.
Okay.
So if I do Control X and then B, without Control X and then just a B.
Okay, look, you're getting a suggestion here, but you can also work with completion. So for example, if you type M and press tab, you should remember this, or like it should be corresponding, or it's actually the same thing as you have in Bash.
Tab completion. Yeah.
So
if I press enter now,
so it switches buffer here.
Okay, so the area down there where I'm standing now, it is like a mini command buffer. This is a buffer only used to talk to Emacs.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, switch to monkey. Press enter now that is executed. So the buffer I'm seeing now is monkey.
Oh, but I would like a list of all the buffers I have.
Okay. I usually do like this, Control X and then B.
Yeah.
And then I press tab.
Okay.
So I see all the possible.
Okay. But if the files don't fit here in the bottom window, or the window, the buffer window, if you press tab again.
I would press tab again, but now
yeah,
what we see is what we get.
If you press Control G to like stop, I don't want to do this. So if I want a list, so if
but
you
hold on, this is maybe the most useful command in Emacs, Control G.
Yeah.
Let's say I go down here to the buffer thing, and then I do something. I want to get out of here. I don't know what's happened. I press something wrong.
Get me out of here.
I just want to get back to the buffer. I just press
stop everything.
Control G.
Yeah.
Like in GOP. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how to remember. Control G.
Yeah.
Then you get back here. Okay, sorry.
So if you press Control X, Control B.
Control X, B.
Yeah. No. Control X, Control B.
Okay.
So, yeah. How did you get out of here when you were? You press Control G.
I could tell you, but then I have to kill you. I press Control G. Okay, so
Control
X, Control B.
Yeah, and now then you have a list of files there.
Yeah.
The
buffers.
Yeah.
Really.
So if you want to go into the other like window here.
Okay.
You can do this by pressing
Control X, and
but
then
we are going to look into switching buffers later, switching between windows later on. But for now, remember Control X O.
Yeah.
And then you can wander or walk between the various buffers here. So if you press like
I want to go
donkey,
here.
then all you have to do is press Enter. And
now I have donkey in a new window.
Yeah.
So I'm currently looking at two files in two buffers at the same time.
Yeah, but I want to get rid of this file. I want this donkey file to not be in the list of buffers anymore, so I can kill it. Yeah. So you press Control X K.
Control X and then just K.
Yep.
And we get back to this window. I don't want to see this either. Control X
K.
K.
It kills the buffer.
Kill the buffer list. So now we have two windows.
I go back.
I go to the other, Control X and then an O, and then I do Control X 1.
Yeah.
But this is for another video.
Yes, it is. So we've seen basically, and the only thing we need to see here is that there are different buffers in Emacs, and they sort of correspond to a file usually. But if you edit this file slightly, this is it. And if you don't save it now. Don't write this to disk, and you press Control Z.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I have unsaved stuff.
Yeah. If you press LS here, sometimes if you go back to Emacs, if you like switch buffer here or do something, all of a sudden Emacs will see that the buffer here is a bit old, and I might need to refresh this buffer. So then Emacs auto-saves a file for you.
Okay.
And you might see files with a name, the same name as the original file, but ending with a tilde sign. Don't be afraid. It's Emacs auto-save files. Perhaps it's done some auto-saving. It hasn't, but let's forget about that.
I think it's time-based actually.
Yeah. So if you see a donkey.java with a tilde at the end, then you know that it's an autosave.
Okay.
I think this is it for now. This is just an introduction to buffers in Emacs. So I think.
How do you get out of Emacs? How do you close it?
Oh no, you don't. You don't have to leave, ever. Control X C.
Control X. I'm saving it first. And then what?
Control X C.
Control X, and then a C.
C, yeah. Oh, sorry. Control X, Control C.
Okay. Control X, Control C.
Yeah. And then we're out of here. Okay, so this is enough for buffers.
Enough for buffers.